Okay then, you know, for Nigerian-born, globally acclaimed author Chimamanda Adichie, these are very unhappy days. The 48-year-old mother of three lost a 21-month-old son in a Lagos hospital on the 7th of January. A depressed and unhappy Chimamanda insists that his son died as a result of medical negligence by a named hospital in Lagos. According to the writer, the son's condition began with a cold but rapidly degenerated to a condition that then necessitated a lumbar puncture that required specialist attention. In the process of moving from clinic to clinic, the son died even when specialists in an American hospital were waiting to receive him. Meanwhile, the Anesthetists Society of Nigeria is probing the medical negligence allegations by Chimamanda. We at Journalist Hangout share her grief and pray she finds succor.
Yes, I read her account and I felt really, really sad for her. We all know what it is, what it means to lose a child. As far as she's concerned, the anesthetist dropped the ball and the baby was left alone. Whereas they should have kept their eyes on the baby. You know, it's painful. It's painful, really.
It is.
Because that hospital was recommended to them as the best in treating that kind of ailment. So there should have been much better care given to the baby. There should have been somebody constantly watching so that if things degenerate, you can quickly take remedial action. Yeah. But as far as she's concerned, the baby was left unattended while being placed on oxygen, and that things got bad, but they didn't respond on time. It's really sad. And now the professional body for anesthetists in our country are saying that they are monitoring the situation, they will investigate. As far as Chimamanda is concerned, they had heard stories that that same person had been guilty of criminal negligence in the past. At this point, we don't know whether that is true. And it's difficult to sit there and regurgitate some of these things because some of those things could have been said from a place of anger and frustration and deep pain from the loss of a young child. But just as you said, it's important to investigate so that this sort of thing doesn't happen again. Even Chimamanda also demands that no child should be allowed to die in such circumstances again. So, and to ensure that that doesn't happen again, the matter should not be swept under the carpet. It has to be investigated, you know, so that it doesn't happen again. Mistakes happen. Mistakes happen. Doctors see people die, so many people die in a day. I once asked the doctor, I said, this person, we just lost this person, and you are unfeeling. He said, no, it's not like we're unfeeling. It pains us much, so much, when the fault is from us.
Okay.
But we can't be grieving every day over the when people die, because there are some cases people are brought in at a point when we can't really do much. So how many people are we going to be weeping over their loss? But when the mistake is from us, then we can feel very, very bad. In this same country, we've seen doctors even leave social materials inside a woman's belly.
Oh, yeah.
And they stitch it back. You know? So there's no negligence that can be worse than that you leave suture material inside a woman's belly, and then you decided to cover her up like that. So there is a need, whether an hospital is A grade or not, there has to be vigilance. We all remember how Gani Fahimi died. Gani Fahimi was wrongly diagnosed.
Yeah, wrong diagnosis.
As suffering from pneumonia. By the time his daughter took him abroad, they saw that he had actually been suffering from cancer. And the rate of remission was already redeemable.
That's it.
That's how we lost Gani Fahimi. It was an unavoidable loss. Because if he had been properly, and this was a very big hospital, I don't want to mention the name, one of the biggest hospitals, one of the best in this Lagos. One of the best. If he had not been misdiagnosed, maybe he will still be alive today. But they misdiagnosed, they were treating for something else, and the cancer continued to spread until his case became irredeemable. So our caregivers have to be very, very careful so that we don't lose people unduly.
Well, this should not be our story in a 21st century world.
It's a very, very unfortunate development. We stand with her at this moment of grief. This is a little child that isn't yet to know what the world is all about. Just coming into the world, just barely 1 year old. And to lose an adult child, not to talk of even a baby, you know, that people labored so long to deliver, especially when that death is avoidable. This is a case of carelessness. And you can be a mechanic, you can be careless, you can be a journalist, you can be careless, but something that involves human life, you know, it demands a lot of more diligence. And I think the issue of medical ethics is a major problem in the medical profession in Nigeria. If you go to public hospitals, even private hospitals, you will experience this almost every day. You see doctors, you see health caregivers, their attitude to even patients. The way they shout on them, pregnant women. I visit this place, I see what happens.
Nonchalant.
You know, nonchalant. Some will be receiving phone calls. I know a nurse that was sacked in UK for receiving phone call when she was on duty. But here, you see them play. Sometimes they even have television watching African Magic, and there are patients waiting. So we have to look at the quality of the breeding ground of our medical schools, the quality of training we give our medical doctors and health workers.
Sorry, what does this say about the acclaim the world gives to caregivers from my country? I don't know if you understand what I mean.
Yes, you see, you know, caregivers they are working in the humanities section. You know, about
they should be naturally empathetic.
You should be, you know, I've seen this, I've encountered it. You know, I went to see, you know, hair specialist, and when she was cleaning my hair at Kenya, she was just, I don't have time, We'll sit down very well, I don't have time. I'm telling you, I just took my calm. You know, just not too long ago, about a month ago, my child in a university started having illusion, and then wanted to climb his bed and fell down. The friends called me. I said, go to the hospital in that university. He went there. They gave him Fansida. No test conducted. When he told me Fansida, I rushed to the university that same day, picked him, took him to a Catholic hospital. They had to do tests only to discover he had malaria parasite. And if he had continued with that situation with Fansida, no test, nothing was going. They just passed, Fansida and just, gave him to. So we need to, if you are talking about revitalizing the health sector, it's not just about pumping money. It's not just about buying machines, beautiful machines. It's about training the human mind, your attitude to people. You must have compassion.
Sorry.
You must be human. This profile that was given to this little boy demands constant monitoring. Because you can only give it to a child that is about
She's even claiming that they gave him an overdose.
overdose.
Oh, yeah.
You know, because the symptoms are, you know, breathing, blood pressure, oxygen
yeah.
levels, heart, you know, so you need to monitor 24 hours.
Yes.
So, but this one, you know, they just administer this and then you know, you just look at it like that and then that was there. So our medical people, it's not only the medical professional, but this one is more crucial because we are dealing with human lives.
You know, the idea is not to break your heart here, anybody's heart here. At Igbobi, this orthopedic hospital, a patient came in, accident. The nurse on duty never knew it was the husband. So she was busy doing these crazy things until she saw the man and knew it was the husband. She fainted.
Yeah.
But is that the story? A 21st century Nigeria where oh no.
You see cases of emergency, go to hospital, they just abandon the person.
There was a video that
You know?
went viral now. That person was filming them. That why wouldn't you attend to this person? They were just nonchalant. If there's an accident and somebody was gracious enough to, a good Samaritan, gracious enough to take that person, the victim, to the hospital, hospital staff should be able to attend quickly
Oh yeah.
to that person. Even the person who decided to lend a hand will be happy.
Yeah.
But that person was quarreling with them and they were not bothered. And they were being filmed.
Yeah.
Yet you
So
are
the
a nurse.
indiscipline, the indiscipline is too much. And I can tell you that some people are in jobs today that they don't enjoy doing. Because if you have passion for the job, if you are happy to be a caregiver, you will be, every day you go to work, you are happy to go to work.
That's it.
And you treat people like human beings. But if you are not happy, you are demotivated, you will even be shouting at your patients as if they are the source of your problem. So if you do not get self-motivation from doing a job, it's better to
quit.
Instead of doing the job that you are not happy doing.
After all, you are a nurse, you are a doctor by choice.
Sure.
Yes, that's the point. That's the point.
So why did you
your
choose it if
responsibility
you...
is to save human lives.
That's
it's not
it.
to there are some doctors, when you see them, you also feel that you're already healed. When you see the passion, the concern. But there are some that when
the way
they
they
are to you,
speak
the
to
way
you.
he even frowns at you. I ask you some silly questions. You know, where did you get this price at this your age and all that? You feel already demoralized. You know, so we need to train
It's
the
just
hearts of the mind, the mindset. It's grievous.
Okay. We are done with the subject matter, but not before telling our sister Chimamanda Adichie, we share your grief. We pray you find the fortitude to bear this loss.
Yes.
And
May God heal you of this pain.
that's it. And hope that lessons are learned.
Yeah.
There is nothing wrong in coming to Nigeria to spend the holidays.
Oh yeah. Okay then, our next story.